The informal meeting of City Commission is called to order. The clerk will call the roll.
Dr. Estrop? Mr. O'Neill?
Here.
Ms. Phillip?
Here.
Mr. Rue? Mr. Copeland?
Here, Mr. Manager.
Yes, Commission, thank you. We have one work session tonight, and that is going to be an update on our current Enterprise Resource Planning project, which upgrades which is a major technology upgrade for the city of Springfield, specifically around our financial software systems. And tonight with me is Assistant Finance Director Katie Eviston. She's going to kind of kick off the presentation and introduce a couple of our guests as well.
Thank you, Mr. Heck, and thank you, commissioners, for allowing us to provide an update on the status of the Enterprise Resource Planning Software, also known as ERP, project view this evening. So joining me are Mr. Greg Catanzano. Greg is the CEO of Graviton Consulting, and Mr. Dave Stevens. Dave specializes in cloud applications for local government for Oracle. We're glad to have them here with us this evening and appreciate their investment to the success of this project. I think their presence alone shows that they're truly invested in the success of the project. So we will move into the agenda for the work session. So I last updated commission at retreat back in March. We've made a lot of progress since then. So I'll provide an overview of the project and update you on where we are currently. Then I'll turn the presentation over to Greg and Dave to provide background on their companies, their implementation approach for Springfield, and what they see, and we agree with them, are the keys to success for our project. You're free to ask questions at any time during the presentation, but we've also allotted time at the end for questions as well. So with that, I will go into the update on the project. So why now? So we talk about that black and green screen, but I provided a visual here.
So nothing else. Is this over?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Closed.
Right. It speaks volumes.
Let's speed this process up. Whitford's playing basketball tonight.
No, go ahead. We're sorry.
No.
This
You're
has been a joke for a long time.
no, you're fine. So the screenshot just shows our current legacy system and just reinforces that black and green screen that we're currently using. So that screen actually dates back, the software that we currently have dates back to 1995. So if you think of the capabilities that you have with your cell phone today, like an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy, something like that, the capabilities that it has, and you think back to that cell phone, which I've also provided an image of that you would have used back in 1995. The advancement in technology with cell phones can be seen in ERP systems as well, as far as capabilities. So that is how far behind we are in technology, which thankfully with this group, I don't really have to prove that. You know how far behind we are with the updates that we have provided. So we have a unique opportunity here to adopt more feature-rich functionality, align our processes with best practice recommendations, and ultimately change how we leverage technology across the organization and how we collaborate with one another. So one of this commission's goals is strong city operations. So replacing this system is actually one of the objectives for that goal. And in addition, it touches on some additional objectives of enhancing collaboration within city departments. It allows us to use the information that we already have to more accurately forecast financials. And it aids in attracting and retaining employees already in a struggling public sector. So finance is not immune to that. And it definitely doesn't set the tone for a new employee when you give them a login to a black and green screen. Okay, so then I'll update you on where we are with the schedule and our selection of a vendor. So when we last updated you in March at retreat, our goal was to select a vendor in the fall and begin implementation at the beginning of 2023. I'm happy to say that we are on schedule. You will actually have 3 contracts come before you tonight as first readings that will kick off at the start of January. So we issued an RFP. We received 4 responses, 2 being Oracle as the software solution. A project team that was comprised of city employees from various departments devoted a lot of time to multiple meetings, on-site demonstrations, and interviews with the respondents. The Oracle solution with Graviton as our implementation partner stood out above the rest. Ultimately, GFOA, which is the Government Finance Officers Association, who we have partnered with in aiding us throughout this process, advised us that software is software. So essentially, Oracle is Oracle. We know Oracle's reputation. We know that they will continually be responsive to changes in technology. The key to success really lies in who you partner with. We're very excited for implementation to kick off at the beginning of the year. We've enjoyed the time that Greg has spent with us today, and that has further solidified the decision in going with Graviton. They have been an excellent partner up until this point, and we only see that relationship growing moving forward. So with that, I will turn it over to Greg.
Thank you, Katie. So thank you all for the opportunity to be a part of this process. We've really enjoyed, we can see from an outsider's perspective, watch the procurement process, and you get a sense for, an organization's commitment, change, and, the resources that they bring to bear during that process. So we've been very impressed with the city right from the beginning. A little bit about Graviton. I am the CEO of Graviton Consulting. We are an Oracle partner. All we do is implement Oracle. All we do is implement Oracle in the public sector, and specifically local government. Our co-founders were both came from the city of Sacramento, where they were employees, longtime employees, and so we really have an appreciation for what it takes to move a public sector organization forward. Challenges that a public sector organization has to work with and is up against. And so that's sort of at the center of our implementation approach. And so just to talk a little bit about our customers, that's just a sample of Graviton customers that you see on the board there. And really what it is you'll see a lot of cities and counties that are not the larger cities you might hear about, they're local government. And so the challenges that we see in local government and the lessons that we learn, we take from one organization to the next, one project, whether it's, the challenges of dealing with grant reimbursements or compensation related to public safety employees. All of those things are projects and business processes that we've encountered time and again. And each time it's using the Oracle technology to solve those problems and really transform the businesses that our customers are trying to provide, the services they're trying to provide their constituents. So now the key in all this, in this partnership with the city and us as partners, as systems integrators, is really the technology as well. We are completely committed to Oracle in the public sector, the local government. We've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing Oracle implementations for 25 years now, all government. And so we are really completely invested and committed to Oracle because we really see it for many reasons to be a unique opportunity for our local government customers, particularly with this cloud environment now, with the maintainability and security and performance that Oracle provides. So with that, I wanted Dave to just share a little bit about where Oracle's heading as an organization and how it's going to help you in the.
Thanks, Rick. We're excited about the project as well. Hear the word, what does it really mean for us? We take it very seriously what reinvest an entire 30 years of rebuild that ground up. Oracle's been in government. Data and the entire bond putting the right where the applications have evolved is at the right, very clear manner, right, as the project progresses. It'll look alike, but there'll be different functions. do in the org. The approvals you get, the workflow built into the process, that's where the transfer is. As we begin to transform your organization, automation, setting up policy, drive, and really audit everything we. Every time we were in the demos, I remember cringing every time I heard manual or paper. You'll hear me cringe. And the industry has really recognized what we're doing. We started down the cloud journey about 2008, built them from the ground up, very secure. We literally build every layer. And you can be confident in security. City of Atlanta, very famous security and they had a ransomware attack. Took down a lot of systems, cost them a lot of money over time. Systems that did not. You'll be running in the best secure data centers in the world. Your users, right down to the way the Greg team will set up, they'll only data. What we've got up here is the industry has recognized us as a leader and the pillars. Very impressed. The improved data you see from your organization. Thank you very much, Rod.
Dave, and one of the things we wanted to walk through, so we've got the technology and we want to walk through the implementation and for all to kind of understand kind of how we've laid it out, partnering with the city, looking at the requirements, this is every employee at the city will be affected by this new technology, mostly in a positive way, really, access to making their own, life on their mobile, whatever it might be. Everyone is going to be affected to some extent. But we've got to be mindful of what that change can do to an organization if you don't implement it in a very thoughtful manner. So we've put together what I consider to be, with the help of the city, GFOA, Graviton, collectively we've come up with an implementation strategy that really leverages kind of what your business drivers are against, kind of the change that we're implementing. Be very mindful of how we're going to impact the organization. So the way we're going to start is we're going to implement what we call the finance system. That's basically your accounting, your purchasing, your banking. That'll be the first phase of the project. And we're going to go live with that next January 2020. And it takes about that amount of time to go live, go through the process to give you an opportunity to make the best decision. We're going to have a lot of options for implementation, and we want to give you a good understanding of what those options are, to be able to make good decisions, and then give ourselves a proper amount of time to train your employees so that you're not only going live, but you're actually thriving with the system. So that first phase of the accounting will go live in January. That coincides with this year. That's best practices in terms of when you want to cut a system. The second phase is our budgeting. Yes.
Wait. At what point will you be running the system, the old and the new, simultaneously in phase one?
It really
because don't you run them to match so they
Yeah. So we will be doing a series of test cycles where we're actually going to validate your existing system with gold. So we'll have a series of test cycles. If you see those sort of chevrons, that third one from the left, when we begin testing. So in each phase, we'll go through a series of test cycles. And when we get to our third phase, which is our HR payroll, we'll actually be doing that for quite a long time. We're going to do penny to penny comparison between payroll. That's sort of an added heightened level of testing when we start payroll.
Good. Yeah, you don't want to mess that up.
No. We don't want to be in front of you explaining payroll challenge.
Thank
Been
you.
doing this for 25 payroll make.
Yeah. And they're right, whoever they are.
So we have the budgeting. That's our budget preparation, where all your departments will get online with the Oracle product. And the reason why we're going to go live with that in July of 23, that coincides with the budget cycle. We want to, at that point in time, complete budget cycle, have that line so they're getting those. fiscal 20. Then we'll stagger it a little bit with phase 3 HR payroll. That's human resources, benefits, time cards, payroll. The reason why we want to stagger that a little bit is we really want to have the new chart of accounts, all the financial reporting, we want to have all that in place beforehand. And then we'll also, the mechanics of getting the project and the technology live before we start impacting all your employees. So that's why we're going to stagger that, and that'll be in April 24th. Okay. And then the final phase of the project will be the service requests and work orders. And the logic behind that being in the final phase is we're going to want to have all your employee data in the new system. We're going to want to have all your accounting in the new system. So when you're generating work orders and service requests, all that information. So that's a little bit about the phasing. And then the last slide I wanted to just share with you all is, what are the keys to success in this project? And really there are 5, in our opinion, 5 keys to success. The first is the implementation scope. I think the city's done a very good job of being thoughtfully putting together what are the objectives. And the objectives are, to meet some requirements, whether they're reporting requirements or what have you, but also to take advantage of, some of the capabilities that we're not just replacing existing processes. We're actually looking to take advantage of don't exist, right? Using your mobile, improving expenses. So having a good scope that really takes the city forward. Proper resource participation. I mentioned earlier, we want the city to be thriving with the new system when we're done. And so that means participating in the project along the way. And we've spent a lot of time working with the city to identify at what point in time will we need resources be with us to make good decisions, understand what changes are coming, so that we put the best product forward. The third is business process change. There has to be a willingness for the city stakeholders to understand that a lot of your current business processes were born out of technology limitations that you have. And so we've got to be willing to move forward with a new business process that can allow you to go paperless, allow you to be more efficient. But that's gonna require everyone in the city, all stakeholders, to kind of understand that that's the direction the city's going. So that's a key to success as well. Efficient decision making. We've been very pleased with how efficient the city's worked in the decision making process, asking good questions, clarifying things, and that'll have to continue on throughout. And for us, the key is to give you the information you need to make good decisions along the way, doing that in a timely fashion. That's on us as your partner. And then the last is just active and effective governance. We are going to come across, we will make thousands of decisions. There's hundreds of variables. And there's going to be times where we're going to have to, choose between options. And so that's going to at times require governance, good governance, get involved for us to provide the information in an effective way. Those folks that are being asked to help us out with the decision. So those are really the keys to success for this project. So I feel like we have a good plan. We've got a great partnership that's formulating here, a great technology solution. We've got I think a good strategy. Yes.
Could you give a couple of examples for the people in the audience and people who may be watching it of the kind of improvement the community should anticipate? Just a couple of examples.
I think the two biggest, if you look at it from a organization point of view and an employee. So an organization point of view, it's going to be access to information. So when I log in every day, I've got on my dashboard, my home screen, what are those data elements that matter, whether I'm a department head or I'm a supervisor, whatever it might be. And so having access to information. So rather than just transact, a lot of times is what you have to say, you're actually looking at your data to make good decisions. That's the number one. By far, the number one change is access to information because it's all integrated, it's all in the same data. From an employee point of view, the ability to perform self-service tasks, right? I have a life of I have a newborn. I can on my phone from the hospital, I can go ahead and log that life online. I don't have to get in and worry about getting back into the office, covered for insurance? What does this mean? You know, so the employee's life or their interaction rate.
So the idea is we shouldn't see city government be more efficient and more effective in the performance of a variety of duties.
Transforms transaction related with both internally as well as externally. People have time to strategize how to do the job better.
But thank you.
Anything else from commissioners? Thank you very much.
Dave, I just wanted to say that my favorite uncle's name is Dave Stevens. So when your name was announced, I like snapped it too. So great name.
With a PA?
All right, thank you, commissioners, for allowing us to present to you in this work session. Thank you, Greg and Dave, for joining us. And again, I'll just reemphasize that this will be truly transformational for the organization. We're really excited starting January to get on board. And we've talked a lot about customer service over the last few weeks, and it's really customer service both internally and externally. So having a site where our citizens can go on and pay any bill that they need to pay, report any concern that they need to, whether that be, we'll go back to the cell phone, right? They will have the capability to do that. And then, as they mentioned, customer service with our employees, being able to access that pay stub or W-2 or their time. So, and that's just small examples of how transformational this will be. So.
Someone like to make a turn?
Commissioners, real quick, if I could just, so a couple new items on the agenda, just to point out several clarifications. First is 328-22 as it relates to plans reviewer services. It just updates the correct not to exceed amount for the 3-year contract. 329-22, same for plans reviewer services, updates the correct not to exceed amount for the 3-year contract. 014-22, just the supplemental listing was updated to include current numbers. And then 334-22 is a new item on the agenda, which is concurring with the appointment of the city manager for Allison Elliott to the position of police chief.
Okay. Now is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Dr. Estrop,
Yes.
Mr. Rue,
Yes.
Mr. Copeland.
Yes. Yeah, we got a couple of minutes before we have a public hearing scheduled. It is a minute now. The public hearing scheduled for 6:55 is called to order. Clerk will call the roll.
Dr. Estrop,
Here.
Mr. O'Neill,
Here.
Ms. Phillips,
Here.
Mr. Rue.
Here.
Mr. Copeland.
Here, as proper legal notice has been given to the hearing.
Notice was published in the Springfield News and Sun, a newspaper of general circulation within the city, advertising the city commission's consideration of vacating the first alley west of South Lowry from Fair Street South to the first intersecting alley. attached here too are true and correct copies of the notices of public hearing published on November 25th and December 2nd, 2022.
I move that the communication be ordered received, recorded in the minutes, and filed.
Second.
Seconded, clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes. Staff report.
Good evening, everyone. The applicant is wishing to vacate the alleyway highlighted in yellow on slide. The applicant is owner of parcels adjoining the alleyway on either side of the alleyway, 317 Fair Street and 311 Fair Street. 311 Fair Street was part of Mo2 Own program, and the applicant received ownership of the lot in February this year. Return reports from utility companies state no objections, with Ohio Edison commenting that it requires easement access rights for equipment present in the alleyway. Return reports from city staff state no objection and recommend approval. The applicant's request was tabled at the April Planning Board meeting, as there was a neighbor who wished to use the alleyway as an access to his garage in the backyard. The owner at 717 South Lowry Avenue, as pointed by the cursor here, expressed his need for access, and the planning board recommended to table the request, suggesting the applicant and neighbor to come to an agreement. At the planning board meeting in May, the neighbor and applicant had not reached a decision. The neighbor is in opposition of the applicant's request, as vacating the alleyway and not reaching an agreement will block his access via the public alleyway. Currently, the neighbor at 717 South Lowry uses the alleyway from South Lowry Avenue as his entry towards his garage in the back, and uses the applicant's requested alleyway to exit onto Fair Street. As shown on the slide, the alleyway that spans east-west is a paper alley and is overgrown from the intersection towards South Plum Street. Thereby, the neighbor cannot access the alleyway to exit onto South Plum Street and has to use the alleyway to exit onto Fair Street. The planning board has recommended denial of the applicant's request 224. Thank you.
Are there questions from commissioners?
Tell me about the neighbors. They're not in agreement on this?
No, they are not.
Were there other objections?
No, there were no other
All
objections.
right. So, Mr. Heck, if in fact we do not approve this, this would remain public property?
Yes, it would continue to be public right-of-way or an alley.
And the neighbors couldn't work it out?
No.
And again, it's impassable from the alley all the way out.
Yes.
And it can't be cleared out?
Yes.
It would,
It's the entry is from South Lowry Avenue, and at the intersection, it's cleared out so they can make a turn to go to Fair Street. But they cannot access or exit out onto South Plum Street. So they cannot use this as their access or entry.
and Commissioner, that east-west alley has been overgrown for quite some time there to the west of that intersecting alley.
That wasn't an objective at that time because they had the other alley to get out onto. Big thing is the person that's not in agreement, they can access out of their garage onto the other alley. The person's problem is he would have to go out onto whatever street that is there.
South
Yeah, onto
Lowry.
Lowry,
Yes.
and that he wouldn't be able to access the other street if we take that alley away from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
a lot of times in these decisions, when we're kind of splitting hairs, if the neighbors don't agree, it would be hard for me to all of a sudden, take away the access to this house. I would not be in favor of this just because this is one of the split hair things that we just need to make
Right.
sure all parties be agreeing. No, we're not voting right this second bill. That's my opinion right now.
That's always been my opinion.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Are there medians,
Cute.
are there members of the audience who want to speak to this matter? If so, please go to the microphone.
Good
Name
evening,
and address for the record, please.
Jonathan Johnson. I'm here representing Nunya Equities. We own the property that you were saying on South Lowry, 717. We have a 4-car garage where we keep our supplies for our properties.
Could people please don't speak back there? We can hear it up here. Makes it difficult. Okay, go ahead.
This, so we are objecting for that to be closed because this big area right here where it says 8771, that partial, we're doing the motor own program for that. And because of my, our truck and trailer, we come in, we don't like backing out. It was suggested that we back out onto, Lowry Street. We try to refrain from backing out because of children. It's not a safe driving technique, so we always try to pull through, and so that's what we have been doing, and everything has been fine.
Just once again, in understanding what you're saying, this has to be very fluid for this, in my opinion, to vote, in favor of closing this alley. So I understand what you're saying. We wouldn't want to cause any harm to any of the neighbors as well. So I appreciate your input.
Yes, sir.
I agree with my colleague. I think this best left in the hands of the public. I agree. And the neighbors can work it out. We're happy to work with them. But when they can't, then it needs to remain in the public.
Anyone else in the audience want to speak to this matter? Is there a motion to adjourn the
So
hearing?
move.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Clerk, call the roll.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes. Tonight, we have a special award presentation. Mr. Rob Alexander from the Small Business Development Center may go to the microphone.
Good evening. I'm Rob Alexander. I'm the Executive Director of the Small Business Development Center here in Springfield. As I think most of you are aware, we get our funding here locally from the city of Springfield, which allows us to pull down state and federal dollars to do what we do, which is to help small businesses get started and to grow here in Springfield and the surrounding area. I wanted to come tonight and let you know about a couple of very exciting things that I think you should care about as investors in what we do. Recently, we had our statewide conference of SBDCs. There's about 24 of these around the state. Springfield is just one of them. And every year they give out awards for different categories. Some of them are peer awards. These are voted on by people who work at other SBDCs like I do. There are 5 categories. And I'll tell you that this year, here at the Springfield SBDC, 3 of those 5 winners were our staff members, which is unheard of. It's just unheard of to award multiple peer awards from one center. We got those in collaboration from Reggie Troutman. Rachel DeWitt got the marketing award, and I got the award for innovation. So 3 is unheard of. But what we haven't announced to the public is that we actually got a 4th. And that's truly remarkable. Out of 5 awards, that they would give 4 to those of us at the Springfield Center. So tonight I'd like to announce that Tom Franzen was chosen by our peers around the state as the peer award winner for advocacy. Yeah. There you go. Tom, you might as well start making your way down here. I want to tell you a little bit about why he was nominated. Tom has sat on our board of directors since literally the year 2000. Like I was 19 when he started there. He sits on every single board committee we have. He's pretty much at every meeting, and if he misses, he's calling me the next day to ask what he missed. He cares like no other board member has ever cared. I think every board member looks to Tom as the leader in all those meetings, and for good reason. He pushes us, he promotes us at every turn. He makes sure that we have what we need to do what we do because he knows it's important. I think there's a lot of people in his position as an economic development director who would really care mostly about bringing big businesses in. Tom cares about that, but he cares about every single business. There's really not a deal too small, a business owner too insignificant for Tom to care about. And we see it all the time. He has changed Springfield in many, many different ways over his years. And I personally want to thank him for his service on our board, not only for SBDC, but for the city of Springfield as well. So if you guys could give a round of applause for Tom Franzen.
Tom. Yeah, Tommy.
Probably should have got this out ahead of time. Go down here.
Yeah, Tom. Nice.
Thanks, Rob, for this. This was great. Obviously, I serve on that board at the pleasure of the City Commission, right, to represent the City of Springfield. We fund the SBDC. They do great work. It's been an honor to be on that board and to work with so many other board members from this community that volunteer their time to put that work in. So thanks for leadership at the SBDC. They do continue to get recognized across the state for the things that we're doing here locally. I think that's important to recognize that. This wasn't necessary, but I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
What does your award say, Tom?
It says Tom Franzen, Assistant Manager, blah, blah, blah. 2022 Ohio SBDC Peer Recognition for Advocacy for the SBDC.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
If I could, Rob, before you leave, the other night I had the opportunity to talk to one of the new business owners who has opened a business here in downtown Springfield. And she said, with no question asked, that she couldn't have done it without the assistance of your organization, and how grateful she was and what a great job you did in helping her get her business established and running, up and running. So keep up the good work. It is noted, it is appreciated, and the people of Springfield thank you.
Dr. Estrada.
How do you want to proceed?
We'll start right into the regular meeting.
Okay. The meeting is called to order. The clerk will call the roll.
Dr. Estrada?
Here.
Mr. O'Neill?
Here.
Ms. Phillip?
Here.
Mr. Rue?
Here.
Mr. Copeland?
Here, please rise for invocation and pledge of allegiance. Our God, we're grateful for this opportunity to meet and to make decisions about the city of Springfield. Help us to do that well this evening and to celebrate major changes in our community that we believe will be good. In your name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Phillip?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Dr. Estrada?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes. Clerk will proceed with first readings.
Vacating the first alley west of South Lowry Avenue from Fair Street south to the first intersecting alley. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Graviton Consulting Services Incorporated to provide implementation services for a new enterprise resource planning ERP system for an amount not to exceed $3,467,590. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Can-Am Technologies Incorporated for a period of 5 years for the purchase and implementation of a web-based system as part of a new enterprise resource planning ERP system for an amount not to exceed $668,632 for a 5-year term. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Cherry Road Technologies Incorporated to provide the SaaS Oracle Cloud application as part of a new enterprise resource planning ERP system for a period of 5 years for an amount not to exceed $1,616,089.20 for the 5-year term, and a contract to provide for the PASS Oracle Cloud application for a period of 1 year for an amount not to exceed $32,007.55 for the 1-year term. Authorizing the city manager to enter into, scrolled a little bit too far. Authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the National Trail Parks and Recreation District, NTPRD, for an amount not to exceed $300,000 for the maintenance of certain real estate owned by the city, and confirming and approving expenditures incurred from January 1, 2023 to the passage of this ordinance. Authorizing the city manager to enter into amendment number 1 to the subrecipient funding agreement, ARPA funding for operations expenses at emergency shelters, with Shelter Inc. to increase funding in an amount not to exceed $200,000 for a total amount not to exceed $500,000, confirming and approving related expenditures incurred from December 1, 2022 to the passage of this ordinance. Scrolling on me. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a purchase agreement, real estate with Clark County Land Reutilization Corporation for the purchase of certain real property for an amount not to exceed $425,000, and authorizing the city manager, law director, and director of finance to perform all acts and execute all documents they consider necessary to fulfill the city's obligations under said agreement to purchase and to comply with all relevant local, state, and federal legal requirements. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Leland M. Rosado for plans reviewer services as needed by the city for a period of 3 years with an option to renew 2 additional 1-year periods for an amount not to exceed $225,000 for the initial 3-year period. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Safe Built LLC for plans reviewer services as needed by the city for a period of 3 years with an option to renew for 2 additional 1-year periods for an amount not to exceed $225,000 for the initial 3-year period.
Those are first readings. Are there any questions or comments from commissioners on first reading?
I had a couple on the expenditures. I just want to make it clear that 32322 and 32522 are no small expenditures. Those are major expenditure contracts. And those would not be possible if 2 things hadn't happened. Number one, the director of finance didn't run the department frugally over the last 8 years, because he has been planning for that. Every year our budget, he says, just get ready, we're going to have to do something. And the other thing that took place was the city of Springfield, the resident, gave us the 0.5% to make our budget not only balanced, but to give us money to do something like this to come into the 21st century before we leave it. So again, Mark is not here tonight, but he needs to be given some credit for the foresight that he has seen. So again, since we're giving credit tonight for staff people, that's one of the things that I look at, because he says that he has been saying it for 8 years, and now it's here. And apparently over those 8 years, we've been doing a tremendous job with the abilities that we had to be able to put out the budgets that we put out, to move the money around like we did, because apparently it wasn't being, we didn't have a cloud to be able to do that. So again, I'm just very appreciative of what your staff is. Thank you.
Anything else from commissioners?
Yeah, I want to agree with Commissioner O'Neill, absolutely. Given the level of technology, I'm amazed at what staff has been able to accomplish, the information that you have provided to us. I do have one question for Mr. Heck. Item 327-22, the purchase agreement with for $425,000. What are we purchasing? Where is it?
Yeah, Commissioner, this is properties that the land bank currently owns and controls. A map has been provided by Steve Thompson. This makes up a large portion in the southwest quadrant of our community, but is also part of the engaged neighborhood area.
Good.
And then Steve can address, the land bank doesn't plan to just sell us the properties and take the money. They're going to invest it as well.
Explain that a little for us.
Sure. So good evening, commissioners. Yes, part of this agreement is the land bank will then reinvest those funds back into the same area, to rehab properties and to buy additional properties. So the money we spend will be staying in that neighborhood as well.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. That's very good news.
Anything else from commissioners on first readings? Okay, for the sake of the audience, we do not vote on the first readings at this meeting. We'll be back on our agenda in 2 weeks. Clerk will proceed with second reading.
Amending the zoning map of Springfield, Ohio by rezoning 7.81 acres, 1030 McCain Avenue, Springfield, Ohio, from RS5 Low Density Single Family Residential District to A Agricultural District.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? Anyone in the audience want to speak to this matter? Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Phillip?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Dr. Estrom?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Hybrid Consulting LLC for professional consulting services for an amount not to exceed $24,000 for the period of January 1, 2023, December 31, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Dr. Estrom?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Ms. Phillip?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Confirming purchases and the obtaining of services for the city and providing for payments therefore and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Phillip?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Dr. Estrom?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Providing for supplemental appropriations within various funds and declaring an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Phillip?
Yes.
Dr. Estrom?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Amending ordinance number 2214 to revise the transfer of monies authorized and declaring an emergency therein.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Phillip?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Dr. Estrom?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Appropriating money for the several objects and purposes for which the city of Springfield, Ohio must provide for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2023, and declaring it an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Phillip? Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Dr. Estrom?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Authorizing expenditure in an amount not to exceed $97,926.31 to contract with Superior LLC, a Central Square company, to provide the city with maintenance services for various computer software applications for the period January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2023, and declaring an emergency therein.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Dr. Estra?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into an amendment number 1 to the agreement with the Board of County Commissioners, Clark County, Ohio, for the maintenance and lease of the municipal court county offices building to extend the agreement to December 31, 2023 and declaring an emergency therein.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Dr. Estrom?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a subrecipient funding agreement, Emergency Solutions Grant 2022-2023, with Sheltered Inc. to provide funding from Emergency Solutions Grant allocations in an amount not to exceed $124,536, confirming and approving related expenditures incurred from November 1, 2022, to the passage of this ordinance and declaring it an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Dr. Estra?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a subrecipient funding agreement, Emergency Shelter Program 2022-2023, with Project Woman of Springfield and Clark County, to provide funding from Emergency Solutions Grant allocations in an amount not to exceed $34,036, confirming and approving related expenditures incurred from November 1, 2022, to the passage of this ordinance and declaring it an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Dr. Estra?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Confirming and approving change order number 2 to the contract between the city and Kennison Excavating Incorporated for the 2022 miscellaneous waterline replacements project to decrease the contract in an amount not to exceed $220,225.34 for a total amount not to exceed $764,615.66 and extending the project completion date to October 28, 2022, and authorizing the city manager to execute said change order number 2 and declaring it an emergency therein.
Move to adopt.
Second, and I note it's a decrease. Wonderful.
Anyone in the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Dr. Estra? Ms.
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Confirming and approving change order number 1 to the contract between the city and A&B Asphalt Corporation for the Eagle City Road paving project to decrease the contract in an amount not to exceed $44,881.75 for a total amount not to exceed $485,293.63 and to extend the project completion date to May 1, 2023. Authorizing the city manager to execute said change order number 1 and declaring it an emergency therein.
So moved.
Second.
Two in a row that decreased.
We're gonna fix that.
That's a record, I think.
We're gonna fix that the
Congratulations.
next. Just don't
We're
get
gonna-
excited.
we're gonna fix
There's
it
an
the next
increase
time.
coming.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyone in the audience want to speak to this? Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Dr. Estra?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into Amendment A to the engineering services agreement with Black and Veatch Corporation for the Eastern Pressure District Waterline Upgrades Project to increase the contract in an amount not to exceed $149,183 for a total amount not to exceed $638,937 and to extend the project completion date to January 27, 2023 and declaring it an emergency therein.
Adopt.
Second.
Questions or comments from the commission? From the audience? Clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Dr. Estrom?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes. New items.
And the next item was added to the agenda concurring with the appointment by the city manager of Allison Elliott to the position of police chief and declaring an emergency therein.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And moved and seconded. I assume this is why most of you are here.
They didn't want to sit through this exciting meeting to this point?
Should we do this or not? What do you think? Are there any comments from commissioners?
Are we-
Anyone in the audience want to speak to this
No, we're not
matter?
done. You went too fast. Hang on real quick. No, I know that I'm not going to speak for all, so I will speak for myself that I'm very excited about the opportunity that we have here with this appointment. I commend our staff, particularly Brian, in making sure that the candidate that was going to be asked to be affirmed tonight would be the one that rose to the top, that would be the best for our organization. I know Brian said this in the paper, but this is indeed the fact. And so this person stood out above all. And so it's very exciting to be able to vote yes on this affirmation.
I agree 100%. It just continues to speak volumes of our training programs when we're promoting from within so often, and we're opening it up to the country to look at everyone. And our candidate, time and time again, come to the top of the heap.
I would like to add to what my fellow commissioners have said. I think it's a real compliment to the city of Springfield that we had 32 applicants apply for this position, and it was highly contested. That sends a strong message, or should, to everyone, that this is a place that people want to be connected with. I think it also speaks incredibly of Captain Elliott currently,
Okay.
that she rose to the top as the best candidate. And I'm pleased to be in a position to strongly support that tonight. Congrats.
And I will hold my comment until Allison has a mic.
I hope not allowed. Okay. What makes you think we'll wait for you?
You guys will. It's important.
You guys.
Clerk will call, anyone out there want to speak to this matter?
Thank you.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. O'Neill,
Absolutely.
Dr. Estrom,
You bet.
Ms. Phillips,
Absolutely.
Mr. Rue,
Yes.
Mr. Copeland.
I'm really very happy to say yes.
With that being said, Commissioners, that's all the agenda items that we have tonight. We are going to ask current Chief Lee Graff, current Captain Allison Elliott, and any of her family and friends that are going to join her down to the front for the official swearing in to make it official as the next Chief of Police for the city of Springfield, Ohio.
We've held our applause long enough.
Oh, Allison, you got a bunch of relatives, don't you?
We've separated two.
Allison's sister is going to do us the honor of pinning on her rank of office.
Pressure.
And Allison's mother will do us the honor of pinning on the badge of office. Springfield City Clerk Jill Pierce will now administer the oath of office.
My pleasure. Thank you. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Allison Elliott,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of Springfield, Ohio,
of Springfield, Ohio,
and I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of the Office of Police Chief
of the Office of Police Chief,
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Love you, G.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, fellow officers, it is an honor and a privilege to introduce to you the 24th Chief of Police in the 155 proud years of the Springfield Police Division's history, Chief of Police Allison Renee Elliott.
Thank you. Whew. Good evening, Springfield. We're going to get through this. I'm going to take a few minutes of your time, but thank you, truly. First, I would like to extend my sincerest appreciation to our city manager, Mr. Heck, Mayor Copeland, and the Springfield City Commission. Thank you for your confidence, support, and your continued commitment to us all. I would also like to thank Chief Graff for your dedicated service to the Springfield Police Division and our Springfield community for the last 26 years. I am honored to have had the opportunity to work for you, and thank you for believing in me and for your guidance along the way. I would also like to recognize and thank all of our distinguished dignitaries and guests who are here with us this evening. And I want to express my deepest gratitude for all of you who have taken time out of your busy lives during this holiday season to share it with me. As I stand here before you, I do so with a humble heart. The love and support that has been expressed and shown to me throughout my entire career and this process has been overwhelming and humbling. But this is not just about me. This day is about each and every one of you in this room, those watching live, and those of you who have expressed that you are here with me in thought. This day is about our community, our organization, and the Springfield Police Division coming together and making history together. As I have reflected on my life and the blessings that I have received, I think about the opportunities that I've been afforded that have helped me to prepare for this next endeavor. I grew up in a home and a family surrounded by strong and independent women who instilled in me at a young age that your work ethic, dedication, and commitment to service will speak to who you are. My parents always reminded me to trust in the path that God has intended for me and that the sky is the limit. We can do anything if we put our minds to it and speak it into existence. As I was preparing for this day, I thought about how I was going to thank all of the people who have impacted my life and my career, and who have helped to shape me to be the person that I am. I quickly realized this would be a difficult task, given we are here for just the evening and your time is precious. To those to whom I'm referring, please know that I am forever grateful for you. There are countless people who have been instrumental in my growth, development, and my leadership throughout my life and in my career, many of whom are in this room today. To my family, thank you for always being in my corner, helping me to learn and grow, picking me up when I stumble and I've failed, and for holding me accountable. To my husband, thank you for standing by my side and for your support and encouragement throughout this process. I am so grateful for you. To my SPD and Clark County families, know that I owe all of you a special debt of gratitude and thanks, because you are the ones who believed in me over the years, and without that belief and support, this would not be possible. I cannot say enough about your love, support, and guidance, and the mentoring over the years that has helped me to get where I am today. Thank you. I've had the honor to serve under both Chief Graff and Chief Moody during my career with the Springfield PD. They have both been instrumental in my career with SPD, and I sincerely thank you both. I'd also like to give a special thank you to the Community Police Advisory Team. I look forward to working with you in the future. It has been an honor and privilege to serve our Springfield community for the last 16 and a half years alongside such dedicated public servants. This is certainly a very special day, being afforded the opportunity to be appointed as the first woman police chief in the history of Springfield Police Division, and I am grateful beyond measure. My husband pointed out that this is the first time the Springfield Police Division has had a first gentleman, which he believes is also historic. But again, this is not about me or him, for that matter. This is about each and every one of you standing here in this room today, and the people of the Springfield Police Division and our Springfield and Clark County communities. Together, we have all faced challenges. We have experienced tragedy, loss, and devastation. We have also shared in the triumphs, successes, and inspirational experiences. And today, I stand here with you, with a grateful heart, having the opportunity to continue forward progress and leading our organization through this next phase and generation in law enforcement in a community effort to serve Springfield with the utmost distinction. I understand the challenges that we face, and for us to succeed as a division, organization, and community, it is going to take an entire community team effort. I learned at a very young age that no one person succeeds alone, and having a team-oriented mindset will always allow you to have a better opportunity to experience success. I am no exception to this concept. My successes will be measured by those whom I serve, not just the citizens of Springfield, but the captains, lieutenants, sergeants, officers, and civilian members that I'll serve as the chief of police. I'm not the first chief in my family. My father earned that title in the military. I've learned from him that a chief must lead from the front with a servant's heart through humility and accountability while being empathetic and understanding. There is an expectation of continued hard work despite any of the unique challenges that we may face going forward. Being a chief is a demanding job, bearing heavy responsibility, and I do not take that lightly. Being a police officer at any rank is demanding, and my expectations of all of you are high. But that is because I see on a daily basis how capable you all are. I see the genuine care that you have for your community and the effort that you put in and day out, and I am confident that my expectations will be met. As we continue forward together, know that I am committed to fostering positive community engagement efforts between the division and our community. Together, we will serve our Springfield and Clark County communities through collaborative partnerships, building on the strengths of our entire community. Together, we will improve overall physical and mental health and wellness for our employees, which will allow for us to provide the best service that our community deserves. Together, we will work to create a safer Springfield through a multifaceted approach, and we will do so with accountability, transparency, empathy, and understanding. Today, I begin writing a new chapter in my story, and all of you are part of it. I am a person who firmly believes in self-reflection to inspire growth and change. As we leave here this evening, I ask you to consider these two questions. What is your why? What is your purpose? We are all faced with situations and opportunities, and we all share a genuine care for the city of Springfield. I know in my heart that I am committed to all of you and to our Springfield and Clark County communities in being the servant leader that you deserve. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing this evening with me, and I look forward to our future endeavors together. Thank you.
Hey, Allison. Brian, I have one question. Allison, before you leave the microphone, Allison, who runs the world?
Girls.
And Brian.
Well, thank you all for being here for such a historical moment for our city, our organization, and our community. It's truly a blessing. I'm excited, I'm proud, I'm honored that I get to work alongside Chief Elliott for many years to come as we continue to work to make Springfield a thriving place to live, work, and play. Allison truly rose to the top. It was a competitive process. We worked with an external consultant. I want to emphasize that. We had 32 applicants, very competitive. The applicant pool was one of the strongest applicant pools that our consultant, who does this across the country, has ever seen. And Allison truly did rise to the top. She, frankly, blew many out of the water. The assessment center scores that she had were some of the highest scores that we've seen ever in an assessment center process. Speaks volumes to her, her intelligence, her character, her integrity. And we're excited to work alongside you, making Springfield a better place to live, work, and play. This opportunity obviously presented itself because a member of our team that has given many years of his life to public service is retiring at the end of this year. And so I do want to recognize Chief Lee Graff, if you would like to come down. Lee has led at the forefront one of the most challenging times in law enforcement history. When he became chief just over 5 years ago, who knew what we would be dealing with from the national rhetoric towards policing, the negative national rhetoric towards policing, the issues and challenges that would create in recruitment and retention of qualified individuals to serve our communities. And oh yeah, we encountered a global, worldwide pandemic that nobody, I went through my master's degree, they never taught us anything about that. So these were some difficult and challenging times that Lee was asked to lead in a very difficult and challenging position, as Allison said. But his career goes well beyond just chief. He committed 26 years of leadership, dedication, passion, and commitment to the law enforcement profession and to the men and women of the Springfield Police Division and the citizens of our community. Lee, we are so thankful for the service that you've provided to us, and I know you'll continue to have Springfield at your heart and at the forefront of what you want to see in terms of positive, thriving communities. With that, in recognition of your retirement on December 30th of this year, 2022, I want to present to you the Meritorious Service Award for your 26 years of leadership in our organization and the greater Springfield community. I'll say he can say a few words. We'll
Last time. Thank you, Brian. You know, trying to clean out an office and do all that kind of stuff, you kind of look over your career, and you know, there are people here that came on with me, Randy, Doug, and I'm going to miss some people. But it's been a great career. I am retiring because it's time. It's time for myself, and it's time to pay some attention to a very selfless person, my wife, who has supported me in all things, but has maybe not had the most glamorous life in the world, following along behind an old Marine and an old cop. And now it's her time. And that's kind of my mission going forward. To all the men and women that I've worked with, served, thank you so much for what you do every day. For all the folks in here, if you could see the dedication, the compassion, the professionalism that these officers work with every day, and under the conditions they work with every day, I hope you'll always have a special place in your heart. The Springfield police officer is a very special breed. They're well trained, they're dedicated, they care about what they do every day. I would put any Springfield police officer up against the best and the finest in this country and not be afraid or worried to do so, and know that they would come out on top. You've seen an example of that with Allison as she moved through the process. Couldn't be a better way to go out. To know that you are all in good hands. And through your support, because that's what it takes, a team, you guys will do great things together. Not just the agency, but the city. It has been so gratifying to see the changes in Brian and commissioners. You're such a part of that, of what's going on in this city. That's one of the only regrets that I'll have, is to not be able to be a part of that growth as part of that team. But you'll always have my support, all of you. I'm at your call 24/7, just like we've done for the last 5 or 6 years and even beyond that. General MacArthur said that old soldiers never die, they just fade away. And I'm starting to feel a little bit transparent. But again, thank you so much to the community. It's been such an honor, and I see so many familiar faces here, to have worked with you, just talked with you, been on the front lines with you. Just thank you. You have my eternal gratitude. You truly do. And even though I'm fading out, the memories will not fade, and those memories will be of all of you. So thank you so much.
Commissioners want to comment on this?
What more you can say?
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to try.
I know.
From the beginning, I hope that you got appointed to this job. You know, when you think about this, this is not a great time to be a police officer, let alone the top person. We have many challenges everywhere in America to deal with gun violence, etc. And you're taking on a really tough job. I think we have the right person, and we will be supportive as we can be, but you gotta do the job, we can't do it for you, and you know that. So, best wishes and good luck. Any other commissioners wanna say anything? Okay, the meeting's not over. But many of you probably feel it's over as far as you're concerned. And I suggest we take maybe a 5-minute break for those to leave who want to leave. And there may be people in the audience who have other issues you came for tonight. And we will continue with the meeting, probably for not a long time, but to touch all the bases. So congratulations and best wishes. I wasn't on. That's coming on. Yeah. You were speaking loud enough.
Best, man. Wow, look at you. Good, good.